All right, I'm going to show you one other way to make shapes, which is down here. It's actually the shape tool. This is a little different. It's going to be making a vector shape for you. We're not going to deal too much with vectors today, but within this tool here, so right above the hand, if I can get that small triangle to be active, oh, stick with it, Elizabeth. Yes, it's frustrating for all of us to try to get these Photoshop tools to open up. There we are. Yay. Okay, so you have rectangle, rounded rectangle, ellipse, which could become a circle, just like rectangle could become a square, polygon, line, and custom. Let's go to the rectangle. By holding down the Shift key, again, you can make this into a square. But before we do that, I want to make sure that you have the same settings I do. So across the top menu bar here, it's going to offer you some choices. The far left, I want you to make sure you're in shape, not in path nor pixels. Make sure you're in shape. Here, okay, so shape. The next one over fill, you can decide if you're going to fill it. This would be nothing. That would have no fill, just a selection. Here you're filling it with a solid color. It sort of begins with black, which is what we're going to use, but you can see here that there's a whole range of options. You can do a gradient, you can do a pattern, kinds of wacky patterns. So we're going to go for the black in this case. We're going to hold down the Shift key and we are going to, oh, what am I going to do? I'm making trapped, right? Let's just do a little square in here. So it starts out, you don't have to do the fill, it just comes in that way. And you can see over here in the layers palette, it just says something a little different. It's set up, well, just set up differently, all I can say, than the selection marquee tools are. But using the Move tool, or V, you can still reposition this on your screen. You can use the Transform tool. And you're going to see that that is also just the Command T. So I'm just going to, from my keyboard, hit pick Command T, and then I'll be able to rotate this. In fact, holding down the Shift key, I can make it smaller or larger, so on and so forth. So kind of nice ways to transform. So I'm going to, I got to trap this little guy. My image is going to be a little bit trite, but bear with me. Maybe I'll make it bigger. Drag that to make it larger, holding down the Shift key as I drag. Okay. Okay, he's looking pretty trapped. Going to hit return to commit that. And maybe for the final one, I don't think this is so great for design, but it's probably going to be good for my demo. I'm going to go back to that shape tool. Okay, I'm still in the rectangle tool, so by holding down the Shift key, I would still get a square. But up here, instead of doing the fill, I'm going to turn that off. Okay, turn off the fill. I'm going to go for the stroke, which was previously turned off. I'm going to do the stroke at there with the black, the solid color stroke. You can see that it has already stroked that at a 3 point. Interestingly, this is different than pixels. They call it point. Actually comes from typography. So there is my 3 point square. But here's what's neat about this thing is you are able to this is a pointer here. You're going to go to the direct selection. We can do this, okay? And then up here from the points, you can pick 10 and it'll shift for you. Or you could pick 70 and it'll shift for you. So you, whoa, 70 filled it. Funky. Did not know that would happen. Let's try 28. There we are. That's a 28 point edge. I'm going to go, it also has a sliding scale here, so if you don't really know, you can just watch it change. So again, I don't actually think this is fabulous for my design of Trapped, but I want you to understand these different ways that you can create shapes pretty easily within Photoshop. So I'll just pretend that's a good one for me. I want to have a little opening in the middle. How about we'll do something like 45. Okay, meh. I'm being picky. Whoa, did not mean to do that. Come back over here, dear. 48. Blah, blah, blah. It's mad at me. Okay, go into history. Didn't like it. I cleared the path. I didn't like that. There we are. So I'm back in history. I didn't want to clear my path. I made a mistake. So I just went into history. And I was going to be super fussy about this and try to make it 48. Try to make it 50. Oh, I'm being really fussy. Keep hitting return after each of these, so I hit the 52 return. Okay, oops, sorry, I didn't mean to clap so loudly. There we are. So that's now 3 squares. I guess you could argue I made 4, but I'm going to say no, that's only 3 for this assignment. And I will finally make a 4th square. And I will just really put this, oops, I didn't hold down my shift key, put that awkwardly right in there, and just let that be filled. Okay, so let's say I'm satisfied with this. It's somewhat trapped. Actually, I don't like the position of this. Let's see if I can move my move tool, see if I can do something else with this. Maybe I want to make that bigger, so I'm going to go to the transform. I'm being really fussy now after I said I wouldn't. Transform. And let's try to actually make this larger because in this test, yeah, there we are. I prefer that. You can have them overlap. So it would be fine up here. Maybe it would be fine over here. Might be interesting there. But I'm actually going to overlap that. Sure. Something like that. Okay. So that's going to be my first example. So I am then going to do File, Save As. And I'm going to call this Elizabeth Dove, and I'm going to say trap. And here's what's important. I'm saving this as a PSD file, which stands for Photoshop. That's going to preserve the layers. I really would like to see your layers on this example. So we're going to preserve that as Elizabeth Dove trap, which is the word I was using, and then .psd for that file extension. A JPEG would not preserve the layers. I'm just going to say, I'll just say that on my desktop and just say save. Okay, so you're going to do that. Get me 12 times. You're going to pick 4 words. You're going to do 3 examples for each. So you have 12 little sketches. Okay, that's our first demo. Thanks so much.